And we're back with part 7, my Let's Play of Disco Elysium. uh, Alright, cool. So, yep, we're fucking back. Took a quick break. Made myself a nice drink here. Gonna jump right back into it. I feel like the plot's finally getting pretty good. Finding some cool secret. Hopefully sometime before the end of this game day, we can do a little bit of exploring of the new area we have. Much stuff to wrap up. Wait, stop. That man bloated beyond all recognition. 42. But she said yes. Below the damage, the weeks of decomposition, all the swollen indignity of mortality. He was 42 years old. Where is this going? How old are you? That's where this is going. 45 liters of raw alcohol has left its disfigurements. What lies beneath, you wonder? You could ask either one of them. Miss, how old do you think I am? Huh? He leans in closer. How old do I think you are? Just buying time to formulate the best answer. I don't know. 80? 100? 1 years old? I don't know what I'm supposed to say. How old is the sorriest age? I think I'm circa 45. You're not. Squinting at you. Sure he is. Age is just a number. Yes. But for him, that number is higher than 45. Wait, this requires scientific measurement. Bring it on. I'm not afraid of the truth. Thought gained. Date of birth. To the laboratorium. The fuck?
It's always good to see you.
Cracks a weary smile, leaning back against the wall. Something in her demeanor has changed. She's tired, signed to her fate. Being here with you and what's to come. A hearty... Try something. What was that skill?
It's always good to see you.
Volition?
It's always good to see you.
No! Wanna pass the skill check.
It's always good to see you.
Soft light brown eyes look back at you directly into the space behind your eye sockets. You see the smoke rise from between her painted red lips. She's beautiful. I have bad news for you. What? You know these guys? Who, me? Yes, you. He's talking about you, you boring stick. You too. Me? What did I do? These guys are compromised. She's got them singing along to her tune. The little bleeps and bloops you trust for info. Can't trust them anymore. Logic and drama? Oh my god. Believe it. Which ones exactly are affected? There's no way of knowing. At the moment, I'm afraid it's best to assume all of them. Bullshit, man. I ain't compromised. Especially that guy. That guy's the most compromised one in here. No fucking way, man. I just want a drag of that sweet menthol Ziggy. Really? Quick, tell me what's under her jumpsuit. Glory, truth, softness, protect her. She wants you. I take it back. He's got it pretty bad, but this next guy's on another level entirely. She likes you. The crown head is a boring condom. He's jealous. This is human nature. What? How did this happen? How it always does, through subtlety. What can I do? There's nothing you can do about it. You are how you are. She is how she is. Things will go as they do. Can't you turn them normal again? No. What use is this then? It's better to know you're being played than to be played without knowing. Is it not? Does this mean she's been lying to me? I think it's safe to assume yes. Mr. Thespian here hasn't been speaking up. If he were, I suspect there would be hands to her truthfulness. Like this. She is a lady most fair and just. In his defense, to reduce him to such inadequacy, she probably has had to employ half-truths more often than outright lies. That is correct. And omissions, too. Can I trust that guy? A little. They're all still of limited use, interpreting things to the best of their ability. Maybe they add their flair or something? I wouldn't know. I don't add flair. But when it comes to assessment of character and factual accuracy, they are not to be trusted. Not with her. Can I trust any of them ever again? Don't be melodramatic. You can trust them, just not with her. What is her plan? You can't draw a sound conclusion. One who usually does says, you may want to control the information rollout, not to become a suspect. You may have a past she's escaping, unrelated to this case. You doubted something truly. See, it's oddly moderate, probably compromised. I've been talking to myself long enough. Let's get back to it. Don't worry, it's only been 4 or 5 seconds. You've got this. Miss, are you manipulating me? Silence broken, she exhales a little cloud of smoke and says, God, no. The Hardy Boys told us what really happened. I understand. Puts her coffee mug on the just like that, no resistance. Shoulders are slouched, her feet long and straight. You lied to us, miss. I didn't lie. Not a lot. I've done my absolute best not to. It's true, the lady hath tried to avoid falsehood. Come on, she lied through her teeth. But it was a mistake, she winces. I'm sorry for wasting your time. This is good. Clear the air first, between you two. Then move on to question. No, it's not good. It's the opposite of that. This will let her dictate the terms of your... Gosh, she can't hear what I can't hear what she's saying. Let the miss speak. She's tall and thin and tired. A twig trying so hard not to break. Why did you waste our time then? Because of the Hardys. I couldn't just dispense with them. They were only trying to help me. She looks at her feet. Out of the shit I'd gotten in. That's not a good enough reason. You're right. There's more. More? You answer to the coalition government, and by extension, the moral intern. She reaches for a new cigarette, briefly glancing over her shoulder at the sea, and she's done time and time again. Where the cold oceanic expanse lies, and behind it another world. What's the RCM's involvement with the moral intern got to do with this? You share a database with them. You send people to their courts. He lights the cigarette. What's going on? What did you do? Just business, but bad business for some people in the moral intern. If I show up in your records, officer, they will find me. They will. What happens if they do? They will kill me, sir. If you file my name, take me in for questioning. Enter me into the moral intern mill. There's a wince and a pained little smile. Well, then I'm fucked. For nothing. Murder didn't have anything to do with me. Here we go. For once you seem to have caught her off guard. Actually, this murder did have a little to do. Why? Why did you call the cops if you're hiding? Because I'm an idiot. The answer comes, which is an indicator of truth. Idiot? She's nothing of the sort. Um. So you would have us believe, but you're not. You have to understand the people around here, no one was making the call. He kept rotting. And then they picked his clothes off, and that little fucker threw stones at him. Her jaw is clenched, her throat moves. It takes all her strength not to cave in and sob once, just one time. He kept throwing stones at him for 3 days. I could hear the thud, thud. Shakes her head, so I called you. I hope with all my heart it's not the last thing I do in Revachol. You definitely called the cops. That was task complete. It could not hath been a lie. That is impossible. Oh God, that was a lie too. Who made the call then? She did, of course. Don't be paranoid, man. It's unbecoming of a police officer, and it makes you sweat. What did you do to have these people after you? It's not nice. It's not illegal. Not here in Revachol or even in Orange. Orange? What exactly did you do? Industrial espionage. I joined a business collective with the intention of betraying them. I did my job well enough to be asked to do it again. With a bigger company, the kind you really, really don't fuck with. I took their ledgers, 2 decades worth of accounting. He taps on his notebook. I need the names of the companies involved and who hired you. The job was Duin County Savings Bank. They sound small, but they're part of the loose cap conglomerate. That was the second job. The first was some printer company. You wouldn't know them. But she really destroyed them. She still feels it. As to who hired me for the job, I don't know, but they're after me too, along with Loosecap and their friends in the MI. He breathes out heavily. Once you're done in the competitive intelligence circuit, you don't have allies. Radioactive. Loosecap, these people engineer financial disasters in second world countries. The conglomerate also includes the Bank of Consecration Airberg and the popular Papalolo line of dairy products. Papalolo. Yeah, Papa fucking Lolo wants to kill me. She smiles. That's a lot of shit you've gotten yourself into. It is. Many people lost their jobs, not just C-suite, ordinary people. Where I did get what I did to get what I did to get to accounting. She shakes her head at the thought. A lot of people got hurt, concludes, but that's just more of my shit you shouldn't have to deal with. You're solving a murder. That can wait. Look into her eyes. There's more. What did you do? She looks down, then into your eyes. One of them killed themselves because of me. That's bad. How do you live with yourself? I don't. Drugs. How do you live with yourself? I drink. I do that too, yes. Unbelievably effective, especially when combined with cigarettes, drugs. What happened here the night he died? We were there, she points to the window. The silhouette of the bed is visible. Together, in bed, I mean. Tell me exactly what happened. Okay, she takes a deep breath. He was in a kneeling position. He had just entered me. I was on my back looking at him. I heard the window behind me shatter, and I turned to look. There was a hole in the glass. I turned back to him. She breathes out. A moment's silence. His eyes were looking through me, and his mouth was open, dumb. I could see. A great pain moves through her, a dark and indefinite wave. She continues in spite of it. I knew he was dead, for he fell down on top of me. You were right. He did enjoy the moment of his death. Wow. So my feeling was right earlier. He was enjoying the moment of his death. Yes, but how did you know that? You know how. He just had a hunch. Detectives have those sometimes. Then what happened? He was heavy. I pushed him off and he fell to the floor. There. He points through the window. He only had his boots on. I bit the pillow, not to scream, then ran downstairs. There's a long pause. She just stands there, her arms at her sides. Then she continues. I waited for the second shot to come, for me. I thought there would be one. It never came. Are you sure you're not making this up? I'm not lying to you. She looks down, wincing. Her cigarette has singed her fingers. She throws it away and immediately proceeds to light another one. What time was this? When did it happen? It would help us if you could be as precise as possible. 11:30 to 12:15. I don't know the exact time. Around midnight. That's okay. He makes a note. Were you inebriated? Not as much as usual. He'd done a line, plus other things. I was drinking. Wait, Titus said she was gurning her jaw off. Titus said she was gurning her. Titus said you look pretty high. Oh, yeah. She tilts her head. I did one of his lines, just to clear my head. Good thinking. Clear your head. You should clear your head. Get into his mindset. Did you did you hear or see the shooter in the course of this? No. What did you do then? Nothing. I was trapped. I was stuck in my room downstairs. I got some clothes on and crawled back up. Drew the blinds. Blood was coming from his mouth. Not a lot, just a little. He was still on the floor. I slouched. I couldn't be there with him anymore, so I ran down and out of my room into the hallway, down the stairs. I knew there would be people there. Run, woman, run past them and out into the street where it's dark and people move. To the lorries at the intersection as far as you can. Why didn't you run away from here? As a matter of fact, why are you here now? I already ran. I ran from an entire isola. There is... I can't run any further. Not with these people. This is as far as it gets. What happened after you ran downstairs? Sylvie was tending the bar. She looks down. A lot of people were there. The Hardys were at the table in front of the stage. I think the union box was full. Ruby was there too. They were having such a good time, she pauses. I sat down and they all welcomed me. I didn't even have to say anything. Ruby knew something was wrong. Ruby? Before we continue, who is Ruby? Ruby, you know, the leader. The leader of what? The Hardy Boys. She says as if it's self-evident. I thought Hardy was the leader of the Hardy Boys. Well, nominally, yes. Ruby's the one they go to when things happen, like things they need taken care of. She is the organizer. Why would you say she is the eighth Hardy Boy? Why not? Okay, let's go on. What then? Well, Ruby said let's talk upstairs. I showed her the room. I've known these people since December, and they know my situation. That I can't leave a paper trail. Ruby was the first one I told. She said she'd take care of this. It's what she does, you know. Take care of things. I helped her get the body to the bathroom. Used a belt to pull him up under the shower to keep him upright. To produce lividity matching a hanging. Yes. We completely missed the tampering. Looks like you got there in time. What was this? 20 minutes after death? Oops. About 20, yes. Ruby explained it would make the blood. You know what it does. She looks at the ground, then raises her light brown eyes to meet yours. Then what did you do? Ruby went outside and to talk to Titus and the boys. I was just looking at Lely in the bathroom. I had to put his clothes back on, his armor too. It was tough, but I've seen him take it off and put it on many times. It took Ruby maybe half an hour to come back with Titus. I'd gotten him ready by then. They carried him out. I knew what they were going to do. Make it look like a hanging. Ruby said that they would. What did you do while they were hanging him? Ruby said to wait here. She also said I wouldn't see her for a while, that we should lay low or something, so I did. This Ruby, where is Ruby now? I don't know, I haven't seen her since. We will need to take this question to the Hardy Boys. Interesting. Why did this Ruby go through so much trouble to hide something someone else did? Look into this later. What are you doing? Coming up with a theory. She said Ruby knew something was wrong before she said anything. How come? It was loud downstairs. She couldn't have heard the shot. It is ominous. You already coming up with theories that put the blame on someone other than Klasje. When it happened, did you hear a gunshot? When he was shot, she thinks? I may have. I don't know. I couldn't hear anything over the glass explosion. Did you kill Lele? What? She gathers the last vestiges of her strength. Why would I put myself through this? Sanity. Get myself cornered like this. There's a silence. The wind picks up. He wouldn't have died if it weren't for me. I know that. But I would never hurt him. All kinds of crazy things happen when drugs are involved. Sweet, sweet drugs. It could have been a desire murder. Maybe an act of jealousy. He was a serviceman. He could have had a gun somewhere lying around close to her hand. Now you guys suddenly have theories pouring out when they're obviously just stabs in the dark. Downstairs, people have this crazy idea that you killed him. I'm sad to hear that. They must have said it in some fit of frustration or under pressure. They couldn't have meant it. I've talked to them after it happened. No one has... She's getting scared now. Of you, the downstairs people, all of it. It's okay if you did it in self-defense. I did not kill him to defend myself from rape, she says. I told you before that wasn't what happened. Desires drive people loco. She simply shakes her head. Drugs were an integral part of your relationship. Perhaps they contributed to its end. What does that mean? Do drugs make you aggressive? No. Shakes her head. People don't take drugs to kill each other. They take them to feel okay with each other. I thought you Revachol people would be more enlightened on this. Pauses. I'm sorry, officer. I'm under stress here. He must have had a weapon nearby. Did you use that? No, I specifically asked him not to carry firearms when he was with me. He only had his stupid armor. Okay, I'd like you to answer some other questions. Like what? She waits, her light brown eyes wandering over the floor, over your face. Could the people after you have killed him? That's the first thing that went through my head, and I heard the glass break. And I thought they'd found me. They've killed him to punish me. All last week I've tried not to talk to anyone or be seen with anyone. She looks at her cigarette, so they wouldn't be hurt. I've come to understand, however, this is paranoia. What happened didn't have anything to do with me. Either way, something to consider. We can't go after Los Cop. Not yet. There are other saner leads. I don't ask you to, Lieutenant. If there's one thing I know, it's that you'll get nothing from there. When was the window changed? Last week, Angus and Titus's brother, I think he's called Tibbs, took care of it. She takes a drag. You should have another look at the window after this. Reconstruct the scene. Right there. In her bedroom inside. Yes, you see the glass sparkling out of the corner of your eye. I think we're done here for now. She nods silently. She doesn't even smoke. Just picks up the cold coffee, holds it in. The lieutenant glances at you, then the door. He's thinking, are we done here? Or should we arrest her? She's a flight risk. She lied to you. She should be taken into custody. No, that won't be necessary. Just leave her alone. She's been through enough. She doesn't need this police brutality. This guy won't budge. You have to wake Multi-Face up forcefully if you want to continue pushing her. Ooh, what? Dear Lord, you've been lied to. She could have killed her lover and lied to everyone. She's not the most fair and just at all. She's smoke and mirrors and will-o-wisps. She probably didn't give you her real name either. Why would she? Arrest her immediately before she further entangles you in her web of lies. Take it easy. Don't overcompensate with this course correction. Ask questions first. Yes, start at the top, choose at the bottom. It's how we've always done it. No rush. That's a funny line. Very meta. Kim, why have we not arrested her yet? There may be grounds here, at least for an extended detention. A little whimper. The young woman hears you, looking around. You know, I think you didn't make that call to the station. I did. Takes a step forward. What is this? I called your desk, or whatever it is. The numbers are all over town. Call 8102 for emergencies. There was an older woman on the other end. It sounded like she was smoking. She took my complaint. She coughed. That is the emergency desk number. Anyone could know that, sire. By looking around and calling the desk, I won't believe a single word she says. What time did you make the call? Thursday night. It was late, sometime after 12. The lieutenant nods in your direction, checks out. Anyone could know that number, and that someone coughed, it means nothing. But I know the time of the call, too, she breathes in. I know that I've not been 100% truthful with you officers, but I am now. Your real name isn't Classier Amandu. I agree, the lieutenant turned to her. You wouldn't give us your real name, not when people are here after you. Okay, her voice cracks suddenly, like there's a garrote around her neck. Okay, what? Okay, it's not. I knew it. You log your work every week. It's all transmitted to Common, sir. I I couldn't just beg you not to enter my name, so I lied. Like I lied before, like I did at LCSB. I have to lie all the time. She looks at her hand, fingernails a chipped white. I'm so tired of it. Was the passport bullshit too? That passport you keep hidden? No, it's submerged in a plastic buoy on the coast in the reeds. It just doesn't say Classier Amandu. It says Anouk Mayer Mit. Falsified documents? Passport and visa, she nods. Given to me by my employer. I can't even use. My employer probably leaked the name. Meyer Schmidt hurt me. Why would they do that? I didn't show up to a rendezvous. They don't take that lightly, she rushes to explain. I didn't show up because I was afraid they'd do something to me. The job was finished. I'm just a liability now. She fears an arrest right here and now. This has been an awful turn of events for her. Where is this buoy? West of the boardwalk in the reeds, on the coast there. She points toward a clump of ruins on the western horizon. I put it there when I first arrived. I haven't been there since. Not sure I could even find it now. It's useless. West of the boardwalk in the reeds, we have to check this buoy out. The lieutenant makes a note of it. Tell me your real name. It's Katarzine Alakdiye. Smile on her face is timid, almost painfully so. It's a Grod name. Blah, 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 not Occidental. All smells of motor oil, taiga, economic desolation, and a rock music infused alcohol. Hold on. Blah 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 is not an Orangier's name, is it? Not even Mundy. It's Rod. My parents were Zmese immigrants, but I'm nationalized. Orangiers. I can remember. All I remember is Orangier. He's silent. Alakzi is my father's name. Finally, we meet. Nods. Her round eyes meet. They seem moist from the wind on the roof. Enough. What if I told you you're under arrest, Petarzine? But I haven't done anything. She backs up against the railing with a forced smile on her face. Anything illegal? She purposefully misrepresented information crucial to the case. Fucking mind games. Enough. That's right, gang. Stern and merciless now. Stern and merciless as we reel her in. You misrepresented information about the case. Without the Hardy's confession, we would know nothing. The lieutenant produces a pair of handcuffs. Please know, her eyes become round with fear. She tries to back further off. I think I know who did it, who shot Lely. I can tell you. I can help you. What do you know? Who shot him? She's silent for a second, as if looking into herself for certainty. Then, in a hushed voice, she says, gearing up for this betrayal is hard for her. Ruby, why do you think it was her? She has this thing for me. Ever since I met her and the boys downstairs, she's been pretty frank about what she wants. What she's saying is sex. And what is that? Sex and more. I made the mistake of confiding in her. I told her I was on the run. She started protecting me. It became an unhealthy relationship. When I started spending time with Lely, she says in a near whisper, she told me to end it. She said there would be shit if I didn't. It was not a good meeting. We stopped talking after that, but I don't understand. The lieutenant sounds incredulous. He still has the cuffs in his hand. What exactly is your relationship? What exactly in your relationship made you think she's romantic? She said she's in love with me. She said she even asked me to run away with her when I told her I'm a fugitive. She started developing notions about our relationship. And you let her on? The lieutenant narrows his eyes. A little. I was flattered, you know. But then I had to let her off, and it was not easy. I came to regret being friendly with her. She looks at her feet. We maybe kissed, nothing more. This is just sensationalism and guesses. I know what it sounds like. That's why I didn't want to tell you before. She raises her eyes to meet yours, but she knew what had happened when I came downstairs. Like, somehow she knew Lely was dead. She wasn't surprised at all when she came up there and was calm as a stone, too. Cleaned it all up like she had a plan. This is a familiar theory. You had it too, remember? Could it be that Ruby was covering up after herself, the lynching? Yet again, you're coming up with this. The worst thing is it may be true. When Ruby said there would be shit happening if you didn't end your relationship with the deceased, was she threatening you? She came over one night drunk, said she'd turn my life into a living hell. I've been threatened before, so I can tell when someone knows how to do it. And she's a pro, she must be. To keep the Hardys in line, I tried severing ties with her after that. I thought it had worked, but she looks through the window of her room. Some of that fear is still with her. She exhales sharply. What are you talking about? She's afraid you'll arrest her. And how could she have killed him? You've been through there, right? I saw you come out. She points to the door that leads to the pinball workshop. It leads downstairs. She could have come to the roof through that and then made the shot right here where I stand. It was dark outside. I wouldn't have seen her. Interesting theory. Did she know that door exists? Had you been out here with her? Yes, of course. She's been up here many times, jacking private stations off the ring antenna. Used to come here to drink on the roof with me before it got weird. Okay, that's it for Ruth. Okay, and what? Arrest the liar, now. Why? She told us some pretty interesting things there. Who? Her. Stop letting her distract you. That's all good, but I think we should still take you in, just in case. Step a bit closer. Still, she says, her voice breaking. After all this, sir, please, it's a shitty world, and I know I'm shitty too, I know. Her hand turns into a fist, slowly crushing the cigarette she's still holding. But I don't deserve to be sent to the moral intern and ground into paste just because I disturbed the sanctity of accounting at some multinational. She's gearing up for a last stand. This is it. What do you deserve then? I don't know. She throws away the cigarette. To spend my days with smoke and drink and dance, wallowing in shit, just like everyone else. What other option do I have? You have those station calls, right? Where where I have to show up to the station or I'll become a fugitive. You could write me one. You don't have to take me in right now. I promise I won't go out anymore. At night, I'll be right here. I know you can do that. Just let me come in on my own in 2 months, or maybe 1 month. That's all I need. You do have that form. You do have the form. He looks at your ledger. That's it. I'm calling it. Kim is beyond compromise. Definitely, sire. What will have changed in 2 months or 1 month? Everything could change. She looks around. This city, the extradition rules, the people after me could be in jail, or maybe Revachol. She falls silent. There's desperation there in that silence, a cornered animal looking for a way out. Maybe Revachol could be free. I could be tried in a free Revachol, an independent state that doesn't hand its detainees over to the moral intern. A free Revachol. There is a low, distant rumbling on the motor tract. A great machine shaking the pillars down south. Electricity runs up your spine. I find that hard to believe, miss. The handcuffs jingle in his hand. What was that feeling? It's coming. I also find it hard to believe. Don't. The world can change. It has changed before. She looks at you, frozen to her spot. That's not the answer she was hoping for. Thought that you were some kind of patriot or communard, did she? This was her last card. There was nothing more she can say. The final decision is yours. You alone stand on the throne of your mind. I've made my choice. She looks at you in silence, her face filled with fear, lips parted. Wait, if you arrest her, Kim will have to transport her. You'd be without your partner for the rest of the day. Shut up. He's making the decision and it's his to make. Hmm. This is a hard choice. Uh, oh man, I don't know. Holy shit. What does the internet uh commonly do? Hmm. I'm going to go with the sort of compromised option because I'm so torn. So I'll do her idea. Let's write you a station call, Katarzine. If you miss it, I can't help you anymore. I won't. Takes the slip, shaking visibly. Then she collects herself. This may have been a grave mistake, sire. Maybe, maybe not. Mercy is rarely a complete mistake. I promise I will be right here all the time, nights too. I can help you any way I can in this investigation. I will be at Station 41 in 6 weeks, she repeats. I promise. I'm just gonna call her Devil Woman. What? Her nails tap on the steel railing nervously. Sound of cold metal ringing under the wind. Her hand trembles. She's only pretending she didn't hear you say Devil Woman. Let's change the subject for the time being. She slowly lights another cigarette and steadies her breath as if in the presence of some tiger. You are. This is not the end of this. Shivers, godly. Oh man. As you look back, you think, the love did do him in. After all, I was right. If it weren't for her, he would have not been there. Scott would have not connected with his soft plate. Looks like love did him in after all. She's silent, holding her under a coffee mug. No vapor rises from it. It appears this one has not been entirely corrupted. This may help. May help the others see. Say nothing. Let her answer. Yeah. Finally breaks the silence. I'd like to think he didn't love me. Or that it was chemically induced and not real. Why? Easier that way. Takes us. Was it real? I don't know. She looks down at the yard, then back at her coffee. Oh man. Oh yeah, another look at the window. What happened here? The golden light melts in away. Oh shit. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, we got vantage points. The golden light melts away into the blue, glassy darkness of your mind. In it, there are two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman on a single bed. What position are they? Like the witness said, the man is kneeling, the woman is on her back. It's the night of March 4th, and a shot has just been fired. The man looks directly at the woman. The shot's possible directions converge in his mouth. A ray cast from somewhere outside, entering his brain. Where does it come from? From the roof outside, location a prime. Location A prime. The glass fractures around the bullet hole. Shards face inwards like a corona behind the woman's back. Inspect the ghostly figures. The man... Oh, I see. Okay. So it would have hit him in the front of the face. The man does not know the bullet has entered his brain. He never will. Death comes faster than the realization. Have a look at point A, the roof. The ray cast from the man's mouth unravels into a fan of possible direction. All on the roof at first. The shot could have come from any of them. This is a composite location A prime, most likely of the origin points. Couldn't there be gun residue outside? There could have been. Then the rain and slush and wind washed it away. This was more than a week ago. So I'm what, 80% sure the roof is where the shot was made from? 72%, with a weapon that's good for medium range, like a rifle or sports pistol. This is a good short distance, but not too short. The perpetrator aimed with the back with their back against the railing or possibly kneeling for precision. This would explain why it only took them one shot. The lights were on in here. Outside it was dark. It was like shooting fish in an aquarium, a well-lit aquarium. The victim opened his mouth to let the bullet in. Neither of them would have seen anything outside in the darkness, too busy with their own bodies. Could the shot have come from inside the room, a closer point? Point X would contradict the woman's testimony, rendering the entire proposition. These figures would be wiped out, detective. Yeah. Are there any arguments against A prime, the roof? None that you've found thus far, but that doesn't mean there aren't any. Man, this is really fucking getting cool. Could there have been another point of origin further away? That's a 28%. Yes. In this model, the shot could have come from a greater distance. Nothing excludes the possibility. Should we extrapolate to include every possible point of origin in Martinez? Extrapolate the radius to include all of Martinez. According to your map of the district, this shot could have come from a wide angle of locations, starting with the northern edge of the abandoned boardwalk, ending with the islet in the bay. Let's call them B prime. More precisely, B for boardwalk, B for B, oh Jesus Christ, B quote for boardwalk, B double quote for Land's End, and B triple quote for the islet. Or what? Oh, it's supposed to be like, oh, prime. Okay, so like B prime for boardwalk, B secondary for Land's End, and B tertiary for the islet, detective. Those may be smaller points in, there may be smaller points in between, but those are too fine to zoom in on. Have a look at B prime, the boardwalk. 700 meters away, the likeliest of these B positions, 20% chance. A skilled sniper could have made the shot, providing he had a safe sniper's net. Even with the light on inside, we're talking military training. At that distance, the perpetrator would have had take the wind direction into account. Have a look at B secondary, Land's End. Well, 1.2 kilometers away, the least likely of these positions, let's say 3%. A truly skilled sniper could have done it, possibly from a tent. No, too far fetched. Have a look at B tertiary, the islet. 1 kilometer away, a point beyond the docks, on an islet in the bay. The fort is ruined, but the perpetrator may have found a stable spot on the beaches surrounding it, where the concrete crumbles into the sea, as you saw in the coin-operated viewer. Nice. Take that into account, too. Damn. The shot would have been a small miracle, 5% likelihood. There is an extremely narrow field of view from the bay to the window between Rue de Saint-Islaine 10 and 33A. The angle would have been extreme and access to the islets is questionable. Kim, do you think the shot could have come from further than the roof in Martinez? From where precisely? Let's say B prime, B double prime, and B triple prime. Okay, that's I see you have given this a lot of thought, he remarks, raising an eyebrow. Are those locations you've singled out in addition to the roof, and what is the likelihood, in your opinion, that it came from a further distance? Much less than from the roof, but still. Okay, well, we should see if there is gunshot residue or sniper's nest if we go down the coast. Rule these spots out one by one. It would be the diligent thing to do. Until then, personally, I'm going with the roof version. It fits the hidden path through the whirling. A simple hypothesis. Man, that's so fucking cool. Even that path we discovered with the pinball arcades and the secret door is relevant. So good, dude. Blink. That is fucking awesome, man. Okay, we're getting into some real, like, cool ass CSI stuff now. I'm feeling good. All right. Damn. Making that progress, son. Alright, I'll deal with him when I get back. Right now, I want to go talk to Joy. Keep not doing it. She's kind of off on her own, and I just haven't been back over it. Oh. Also, what is this? You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic. Why am I looking at this? Top habit, you look at everything. This isn't case related. What kind of vehicle drove through here? Hard to say. Instruct them. Not now. Right, because that's logic, yeah. I am gonna also... Do I have cigarettes? No. I don't think I do, actually. No. Yes. Oh man, we're getting into the real CSI shit now, boy. The tire tracks were left here by an unknown event that took place some days ago. It's a message written in the language of burnt rubber. Some of that rubber stuck to the tiles right in front of the whirling rags. This is point A. The driver started there and then accelerated straight into the fence, left a hole big enough for the Franco-Nigerian cavalry, according to the cafeteria manager. Why that pang of guilt again? The hole in this fence doesn't look that huge. The hole is not that impressive. He was exaggerating. People blame cops for everything that goes wrong in the world. This has nothing to do with it. As a matter of fact, you don't even know why you stopped here. You would never drive recklessly like this, and you don't have a car. Okay, what happened next? The driver proceeded to back out of the yard, barely stopping before hitting the adjacent building. Before heading south, must have been in a hurry. A car drove through the fence. You are correct. This is a rather motor carriage friendly city. Somehow that makes you feel scared. You don't know why. Is this connected to the case? I'm not sure. There are plenty of traffic accidents waiting to happen in Martinez. With the jam right here on the roundabout, I would keep them separate. You could follow the tracks south. There seems to be a canal there. See where they went, if you find the time. I think I got it. Leave. How do I follow them? Someone online was saying it's near the pawn shop, the tracks. I don't know how I'm supposed to follow those. I don't really see them. Are these the tracks? Like red here? Maybe there was something I needed to do to like initiate it. Alright, let's go talk to Joyce. I said I wanted to do that.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
That is on the water. Green plants and monster.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
By the way, I've talked to Avart Claire. You have? She smiles carefully. How did you like Mr. Claire? Finally, time to choose sides. Hold on. What happens if I like work with both of them first? Also, probably about to make another drink.
You're back. Good.
Oh, right.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Oh, you seem smart. I need someone to give me a lowdown on this reality we're in. This reality? She pulls her hood closer around her neck. It's related to that medical episode. I have trouble remembering even the most basic terms of reality. Ah, yes, the episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy. Now that I think of it, she puts down her thermal cup and looks at you. Don't be fazed, madam. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on the reality. We may be here a while then. He takes a long sip of tea. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can. Alright, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay? Oh, jeez. Where are we? We're in Martinet, baby. Baby? A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover. Pay it no. I'm a disco holdover myself. Ah, she smiles, aren't we all? Mm-hmm. And what is Martinez? Martinez is a district of Revachol. She looks around, her green raincoat flapping in the wind. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbor north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten even. Held to smithereens during the revolution. Drugs. It has its charms, just not this time of year. Tell me more about Martinez. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. She closed her eyes. There were ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders. He opens them. As I told you, Martinez used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its part. Now the reeds are the real star of the show here. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets. You mentioned a sea. What sea is this? It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol, and the bay feeds into the ocean. Are we near the ocean? Yes. We are on an island in an ocean. The world's largest body of water, the Insulindic. Known to the early Revacholians as Les Imminentistes Blue. The Blue Immensisti. Okay. Vast, lukewarm, and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight. What's the name of this island? Kailu. As you already know, she looks up to the waters. Imagine a pebble, a smoothed-over pebble against a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the river Esperance. We're in the delta of this river on the 6th branch, the Martinet distributary. It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her, and to humanity at large. Okay, that's Martinez. What's Revachol? Revachol is what you call a city. What kind of city is Revachol? The great kind. As if it's a self-explanatory beyond patriotism, a fact. What makes Revachol great? History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least, our centuries. Okay, who built the city? The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Semines and Ilmara, depending on your creed. When was Revachol built? In the Delorian century, 380 years ago. And why will it resolve history? They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts, ideological conflicts, the stuff of men. Why here? We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue, she smiles. It's where the money is. So we're pretty much at the center of the world. Oh, we're quite a way off. About, she looks up to the water where the skyscrapers rise. 22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the Bank of the World building. The bottom floors are Insurcom, coalition government, Indian mission. Look to the sea. Silent, she lowers her head. The water, the light, it's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it. Where are we? We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately. She watches you closely as you scan the horizon. This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you? Was there something else? I wish I had done this way earlier. Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown. This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask. There's you. about even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Madame Messier will be here late too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, ma'am? Absolutely. My commitment here is long term. But I want to know everything now. That is understandable, but perhaps it's better not to eat all your candy at once. Indeed, I am always at your service. What times are these? These are unimportant times, detective. He puts a finger to her lips, then points at you. You and I were born after the dust had settled, 1,000th of a second too late. Too late for what? For the big time. Her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth. The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got in mind. What's the big time? The revolution, she says. Ah. And what is this revolution I keep hearing about? It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next. Who gets shot in the head and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfluffle. Would you say it's a bunch of apes duking it out? Why, of course, we're talking Duke Out Central, full swing interspecies warfare. And the apes, were they evil? No, I would say the apes were neutral. She looks at you, her gaze sharp. Okay, neutral. On the other hand, she turns to the north, to the bombed-out buildings lining the waterfront, and shivers slightly. Who got shot in the head? Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. She's not gloating. It's a relieved celebration. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them as well. So well one forgets they even existed. Did the communists and the anarchists shoot back? Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people. That's a tragedy. Yes, the Red Deluge, the Insulindian Deluge, they call it. Anyone else get shot in the head on the opposing side? Oh, lots of people. Even the kings got shot in the head or thrown beneath a horse or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. She shakes her head. Just as well. He wasn't actually the king, just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Broad. Cowardly king. I prefer the term risk-averse. King William was nobody's fool. He could smell a PR disaster brewing, so he got out alive, and his nephew, Bristol, got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time. Who got the mineral rights? The liberals got the mineral rights. She looks up to the sky, then inland at the crumbling city. And by mineral rights, I mean everything. Okay, and by liberals, you mean... Liberals are usually middle-class people, detective. Or the remaining gentry, the beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. The fared well. How did the liberals win it all? They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everybody else got shot in the head, remember? She's one of them, of course. If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender to? To foreign intervention, the coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights. Wait, you just said the liberals already took everything. The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. She stomps her rubber-booted foot. The ocean, the laws, and the people. Who are the coalition? The coalition of nations. Brad, Mesque, Vesper, Messina, Orange, and Sur La Clef. The armed center of the world. They landed there and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do. There's bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. He is critical, but ultimately understands the cause. Moralist? The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government. The rulers of Revachol and also the world. These guys are strong. This is their special administrative region. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist. The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of the Moral Intern or Moralist International is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of the gray sky. Unofficial, for a moment there was hope. I don't think I'm a moralist, ma'am. Of course, she sizes you up. Not easy to be modest about head shooting in your line of work. Moderate about head shooting in your... When was this kerfuffle? The turn of the century revolution, she smiles mischievously. Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Grad Isola, though by the end there were nearly the whole world had gotten involved. Who started it? It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zaroth, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government. What did this Zaroth do? It made people overthrow their governments. Wow, really? Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark. That sounds right. This game's politics are really whip smart. It's pretty good. Like, this whole backstory is very believable and well thought through. Where did it spread from there? From Revachol and Grad, not far, the world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end. What came next? Why, you and I, officer, she spreads her arms, raincoat flapping in the wind, our lives in the special administrative region. Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie, a pair of pants. Our lives are very different from each other, no doubt, but we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you'd think. What's the special administrative region? A city-state that divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the coalition of nations, and you, of course, the citizens' militia. The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage. The special administrative region is the third incarnation. Revachol after the failure of the Suzerain and the Commune. What happened in the rest of the world? Modernity. They developed the marvels of inner isolary communication, telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade. It's been like this for how long exactly? 43 years. Hard to fathom, I know. What have we been doing all this time? All that time? The 20s saw a decade of urban war. West of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement to what came before. '08 to '19 was simply hell. And after that, the 30s, things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it would seem things were going somewhere. Then you happened, your youth in the 30s. That's when they discovered disco. Yes, and quantitative easing. It was a market mirage, unfortunately. The 40s dispelled it as isolar-wide hangover, you might say. So here we are, she curtsies. Get a reality lowdown, we're done. Welcome to reality, baby. From the looks of it, the 50s have been much better for the special administrative region. You can see it in her eyes, days slipping away. You don't seem to be thrilled. I've no right to be dissatisfied, she shakes her head. The shirt is Barbara Muskaova. This raincoat is impervious to rain and is guaranteed for 100 years. My daughters will still wear it. No, it's just... He looks at the crumbling tenements, paint flecking from the stone. Her voice is almost wistful. We could have had so much more, every one of us, if we'd only played it right. What would you have done differently? Good question. She cranes her neck. What would you have done differently? No, her first. I asked you, who are you in all this? And I asked you, pastless detective of the Citizens Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given you? Here's some wisdom, lady. Say the death thing. I would have sought a medical solution. Sounds like Zaroff drove these people mad. A cold creeps up your spine, reaching its tendrils up your neck toward the back of your head. Though a quarter of humanity, she calculates, simply lost their minds, and how would you stop a prison? A complex folding protein, unlife with the technology 50 years ago? Privatized healthcare and work ethic that does not turn your brain into sponge tissue. With some hygiene, modest social care, and perhaps a little research program. The wind stops for a moment and silence. The charge dissipates into the dark water. All is quiet on the Martinet islet, but there's peace in the heart. Good hygiene, really? A very moderate solution to an extreme problem. It's those sort of half measures that doomed the authorities in Brad. When they failed to step up, Mazov and his party stepped in. In this particular case, maybe more robust state response might have been appropriate. The lieutenant puts down his notes for a moment. Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official positions of RCM. Turns to him. And what is your official position, Lieutenant? My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir. Understandable, she nods. That's enough about the times. They are what they are, who knows. An overbloom may yet come. Afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know? Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer. What is this acute encephalopathy? The neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out. She conveys it in a short, cold burst, trying not to invest too deeply in the condition of this doomed detective. In case he goes down later, souring the entire portfolio. What causes blah blah blah? Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use. It's definitely the drinking. She nods slowly. Yes, and perform autoerotic asphyxiation on yourself with your funny necktie out in the open somewhere. I want to know what you are. She hums. She won't maneuver her way out of this one. What are you? I am the vilest of the vile, she says with a sudden flash of teeth. A traitor, a devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra. She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine. It's sharp. Wait, what's an ultra? An ultra-liberal, it's a type of liberal from the revolution. It's not the moderate kind. Dios mio, draw across. A liberal. Yes, she nods slowly. I am the nether creature of the forbidden swamp. I pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial colonists. I can see you thought we'd gone extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. She looks into your eye. You're a centrist at heart, a real moralist, no? Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening? In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire, decades of guilt and pride. Forgive her, but only because you like the pearlescent teeth and the light green eyes. I forgive you, but only because you're charming. Azul, she pronounces, who being a great charm and guile, sneaketh into the homes of the godlike. Beneath her waterproof raincoat and silk shirt is a body imbibed in Num 12 perfume. You are suddenly and intimately aware of it. Not devil woman. Wanna fuck? Vows I'm gonna shake your head slowly. I hope so. I hope we are able to continue as friends despite my scaly bulk and the insanity, bloodshed, and transfer of wealth that took place here. It was not the plan all along. When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. She turns her gaze to the Delta. This was all our last generation managed. Would you have done something differently? With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinet a monument to the efficacy of its artillery, while a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks. I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the coalition, not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta beachheads either, if not for my own sake. She realizes her small, cold fists are clenched. She loosens them. Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isola down rather than let them have it. Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes, an oil fire on the ocean. You're a patriot? Yes, I suppose I am, but I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here. Seditious talk, ma'am. Kim puts down his notes and gives her a look. You're a smart woman. Perhaps. Her earrings chime as she nods. My intellectual vanity would be my undoing. You have daughters? Yes. Wherever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Closes her eyes and opens them again. Now, shall we return to reality? What is this? Spread your hands. A bird? She tilts her head. A sphenicid. A flightless bird of the polar regions? I meant, what is this place here? Ah! She spreads her arms almost as wide. This is the pure Rue de Saint-Ghislain 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two. She looks around. What is Rue de Saint-Ghislain 33A? A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments, after Les Bâtiments Nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveau, they're old. She looks up at the crumbling facade. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall, a real high rise by the standards of the last century. But to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay and the delta, that was before the war, of course. Who lived in them? Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off. Splat, splat. From a dilapidated balcony, a young girl in odd clothes gives Joyce the evil eye. A red paintbrush held to her throat. Wonderful. What is that? Point to Cindy the skull. The girl in the old lady rags? Yes. Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture. Infraculture? Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant. Those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the superculture. Okay, now explain the same thing, but to a child. I get it. I understand everything. Make it more complicated somehow. I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. Holy fuck, this game... Hold on. I don't understand the ultra-liberal dynamic, but this game... Boom. Taking a screenshot of that bullshit. That is some fucking actual political analysis right there. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. Exactly. Hey, do you like to rebel against your parents and you want to do your own thing? Oh, you've created a market. We may sell you now, edgy outfits and films about being on the fringe of culture and about being a different kind of cool. It just creates a new market. Exactly. Capital, yes, the way she said it. Capital subsumes all critiques into itself. You can create a market for socialism. Like, you selling products to people that feel that way. She pauses and takes a long, leisurely sip of tea. Alright, what's next? That's all for now. Conclude for now. Alright, I'm gonna pop a save. But that was... Yeah, that was... Man, this is crazy.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
All around you, rain keeps falling down on the wooden boards she's standing on and on the water around you. I could use a coat like that. The rain is freezing. Sadly, I need this one myself. It's hydrophobic, repels water almost magically. The company makes them for offshore platform personnel, very sturdy. She gives the material another pat. What can I do for you is answer some questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day. Got some more questions about reality. What is this? Or something close to. Jesus Christ. Alright. So this, I'm also about to I'm gonna go make another drink. Loads. Alright. Alright. Okay. And we're back. Do some of these skill
You're back.
checks.
Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
Six kilometers southwest in the Valley of Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To the left, his partner, Emil Mullins, whispers, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, finger on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls his gun out slowly. "Slowly now. We'll find it again. We always do." "What am I? You?" "You are an officer of the RCM," she says energetically. "The Revachol Citizens Militia." "Preciso mundo." "Good. And what is the Revachol Citizens Militia?" "Nothing more and nor nothing less than the de facto law enforcement body of the post-revolutionary Revachol, detective." "Yes." The lieutenant steps in to make a gesture encompassing you both. "We are the Revachol Citizens Militia." He's being sarcastic. "Are we?" "We are." "You said de facto." "Yes, that means not de jure." The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin. "What do you mean?" "The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer, and Ailment Acts. 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire stasis for the benefit of foreign capital. All 3 are good to know." The lieutenant looks up from his notes. "When we're out policing." "So I'm basically a lackey of capital." "There's nothing basic about your role, detective. It's true that RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it." He leans in. "Yet on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of it." "Why?" "The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river. Gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown. They called it the international zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. A true blue citizens initiative," she smiles. "They will never forgive you." "That's somewhat of an exaggeration," the lieutenant interjects. "In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol, and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it." He coughs. "Anyway, I'm sorry to intrude. Please continue." "Yes, Lieutenant, permit me to conclude with this. Who are you, to me, is the police, the only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol." "Thank you, ma'am. And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help," she bows and smiles. What was the RCM again? That's all for now. I spoke,
You're back. Good. What can I help you
I
with?
spoke with the lorrymen at the roundabout. "Yes, my eyes on the harbor have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?" Where exactly are these eyes located?" doesn't really matter, and I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind in a time like this. In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation. The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours. Let the lieutenant handle it. If there is an investigation, it will be part of an ongoing operation, subject to confidentiality. I'm sure you understand. Of course, detective, she says, her tone more cautious suddenly. In any case, if you held up your end of the arrangement, I trust you with the rest. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hand. The words bloodbath sound cold in the mouth. A taste of iron and strawberry. What was that about a bloodbath? Yes, I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Revachol West. Since you're sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario. Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. I've already heard about a connection between the lynching and strike, but I need your testimony. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contract as an insurance man. They called it my security detail. A momentary lapse of faith? They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer. Every worker, a member of the board, she nods. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor. Do you need a security detail? Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering. Who are they exactly? Crenel, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, Orangier's military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinaise. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment. So what happened? The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night. What then? I really should have done. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbor. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenel contractors carry out their orders for now. For now? It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow. What is the nature of this so-called investigation? Whether to excuse one, some, or all of the Union militants. It'll be all of them. The decision is already made. This is not disco. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy, is that not good. It's not good, no. A wave crashes against the side of her boat. My only hope is that you provide a single concrete suspect before the mercenaries indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, she grabs hold of the mainsail. If you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This, in turn, will force the Union to respond. They would have to project strength and power. The debarkers have over 2,000 men. It would be 1,000 to 1. Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? He leans back. It's not pretty. The Cerace giant hornet, the world's second largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees in a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours. These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loading weapons, even yours. Most union workers don't have guns at all. He is silent for a moment and concludes, as I said, a bloodbath. Isn't this a pretty bleak scenario you're describing? Many bleak scenarios have already come true. She looks at you, eyes damp from the wind. Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia. All we can do is keep the rest from going the same way. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation. What can you tell me about Grinnell? Not much. Their public resume is relatively good as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Down Low. Down a deep black well. They boast a long list of clients. St. Baptiste, Welshman Lawrence, Indract, a warning sign, however, the operations concerned all take place in third or fourth world countries, guarding facilities, escort missions, and such, meaning they're used to operating in war zone. Yes, all the good conflict corridors. Supramundi, Yisit, the Seminoles Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil. Okay, anything else you got on them? Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. Thanks. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though, she says. Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am? In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I would be dealing with a group like Krenel. Could you contract the company? Tell them to call them off? I have, and they will. However, those orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us. You said the deceased assaulted a woman? Or he didn't. She tilts her head. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it. Who did the passing on then? The remaining contractors, their tribunal. It's what they believe. What did these teenagers by the canal say? That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez. This does not come as news to you, but still, he exchanged a glance with you. To your knowledge, where did this assault take place, if you know? Last Sunday night at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him. I know the woman you're talking about. We have it under control. Good. Then you've made progress. It's imperative that you move fast. The tribunal will not be patient. This colonel, the one who was hanged, did you know him? If you mean did I see him alive, yes, but I did not know him. His name was Lely. His service name, a nom de guerre most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did, a bad sign if there ever was one. Tell me about the others first. One is a man, Cordy, they call him. A nickname as well. The other, a woman, Phyllis DePaul. Cordy is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator. The lieutenant cuts in. What would you say was his eye color, the deceased? She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head. I can't remember. A pang of regret to her voice. That's alright, ma'am. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age? He was 40 or 50. It's hard to say which. He had combat injuries on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age or gauge his facial expressions. This matches the dental reconstruction we saw on the body, and Classier also mentioned it, I believe. He says to you. Then he turns back to Joyce. What else? Nationality? Accent? He was Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Orangese or Messian Indian, perhaps. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. She nods. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once. Where are the remaining 2 mercs now? They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. He puts her foot on the guard wire for balance. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the... They don't have the same respect for Revachol citizens militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes, ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting. Vigilantes, you're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol. Vigilantes, the RCM gets its authority from the Coalition. Where does theirs come from? Somehow I doubt that lecturing them on the legitimate use of force will persuade them to stand down. We still need to know where they are. You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to date if I don't appear involved. Where are these mercenaries? One is obviously the scab leader at the harbor gates. Oh, what? The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise. The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers. One must be the goon in ill-fitting work clothes by the harbor gates, the scab leader. That may be so. She is poised and unperturbed. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest. For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, situation at the gates is a powder keg. Does this not bother you? Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant, but my hands are tied. How would my employer react if I were intervening on behalf of the Union? Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace. One is probably in the building overlooking the roundabout. That would afford a good vantage point, she says. In any case, it's practically inaccessible. Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece? Heavens no, I'm not an undercover agent. There's a shortwave at the ship's wheel. He nods towards the ship's cabin. I have another question for you. I hope I can answer it. How much time do we have? Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob and their impatience. They don't report their progress to you? Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. There is a brief silence. Seagulls squawk over the bay. 5 days, not more, maybe sooner. It's a matter of days, not weeks. That's enough for now. I'm sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there's anything else I can help you with, please ask. Now, can you tell me about these tattoos? Of course. Excuse my hesitation before. She reaches over the guard wire and takes the photo, holds it in her hand, for about half a minute in silence. It is taken with a trigot not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no markings on his hands or legs. Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo surface. What do you think? Sorry, she breaks her concentration. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points, the stars. He points to one on the photo paper. I can't, but that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent. Like stars in the sky? Close, she nods. Port cities. This is an Orhanyes map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Delorian century over 300 years ago. The sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. What is the use of this map? The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it. Where is he now? This one has flown quite far by now. I would say he's near the Arcade Islands by now, ready to exit the Insulindian and enter the Pale, if I've read his home address correctly. What travels did the dead man make? Quite a few. Vredefort, the Orhanese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. She points to it in the photo. He started somewhere near here, I think. What's next? Then he made his way to the Preto Grande through what I think must be Stadskanal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Preto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean. First to the Seminoles Islands, then this. She points to his heart. What is that? Revachol, she says. Those are the two constants. Redford on the shoulder and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after discovery of Insulind and the dawn of the Intersolary age. The old world passing by and the new world already here. You said you can't read it. I can't. This man was no sailor and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments but not their meaning. In Martinez looking into Crinal, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter. This man is no brother of mine, but this is his service history. That makes sense to me. We have no more use of a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident, mercenary tattoos. For all the boys looking for adventure, a blood splatter on this. Who could tell me more? His platoon members? The other contractors? Although I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade. Challenge accepted. I say we do. I need the information. Do what you have to do, detective. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security, but if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you. We will be careful, ma'am. That's all for the tattoos. Thank you for your help.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
By the way, I've talked to Evrart Claire. You have? She smiles carefully. And how did you like Mr. Claire? Finally, time to choose sides. It's not important if I liked him. I was doing my job. Of course, detective. Excuse me for implying other. The RCM does not pick sides, and I hope it does not come off any other way. Of course, I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I am not a corrupt worm myself. She turns to you. However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be, he smiles, gossiping. Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things. Tell her she'll like you for it. Yes, your disgusting tie agrees completely. Let's gossip. Mr. Everard is helping me find my gun. Oh, her eyes become large and round. That's so helpful of him. The lieutenant looks at you and you can swear his jaw muscle is trembling. He's able to contain the anger and surprise. When I said be wacky, I didn't mean wildly, grossly irresponsible and damaging to the RCM. Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They go around and tell people about this to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting. Incredible, she shakes her head. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun? Mr. Everard says it's almost ready to be found soon. Did he now? Her eyes narrow. Well then it should be any day now, unless of course he's lying to you. Anyway, was there anything else you've heard? I helped him turn up the heat on the borscht. Did you now? She's intrigued, if a little confused. What sort of borscht is he making? The cook makes it to keep the strikers drunk, helps them strike. The strike brew, he nods. That's a classic. And by turn up the heat, I presume you mean put more alcohol in it? Yes. Why, if I may ask, why make them more drunk? Aren't they corked enough already? Yes, detective, what were you hoping to accomplish with this strange thing? An act born of sympathy for the working man. I set fire to the fumes of struggle. Very curious, she blinks both eyes. A very curious thing to do. Truly, but that's how he operates. He just does things, man, and then talks about them, even if it's inappropriate. A strange equanimity has overtaken the lieutenant. He's just going with the flow now, easier that way. What else? He asked me to open a door. A referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM. She waves her hand. Don't answer that. No, I mean like a real door to someone's house. Oh my, a real door? The lieutenant does not say anything, but you hear the nylon of his jacket rustle. It was nothing. Of course, the RCM has the right to inspect any premises, she nods. How else would we catch the bad guys? The information was useful, I hope? Frankly, what was done was not pretty at all, but neither was it illegal. And it was not for nothing, he turns to you. This seems serious. I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight. That's all I've got to say. Naturally, detective, there are lighter topics to gossip about. That money you gave me, would it make things weird if I shared the information, I mean? Weird? Oh no. One of the positive things to come from the revolution is the unhindered exchange of information, even when it comes to trade secret. Which isn't to suggest our talks constitute corporate espionage. Even if they did, it would be fine. But they don't, since you logged the money as a donation. Clearly just gossip. I'd rather talk about something else for now, if you don't mind. Of course, detective, she simmers down. Did something come up later down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Until then, is there anything I can help you with? That's it. All right. Can I read the case files now? Yes, you can piece them together using the alphanumeric margin of blah blah. Wait, those officer precinct. Why, yes, your precinct number is 41, and HDB. Every last alphanumeric in the file begins with it, and they're your case files. It's safe to say HDB or your Harry Dubois. Still, you feel like there's something missing from them. I think what you meant to say was RAC. Fine then, I give up on Raphael. That's comforting to hear. Now, detective, it takes half an hour to piece one of these together if you still want to. Here are your options. The next world mirror. This one is relatively easy to reconstruct overnight on. It's true. Oh my god, this. Going through. Skipping this. Your hands shake while holding on to it. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, I find a little piece of sadness in it. I carry it in my chest down Voyager Road. Every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step on the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. I know it will be like this until late afternoon when I get off the 49 and walk back to you. You, every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you. You have a vast, vast soul, and I will always, always, always come back to it. Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you gets dark. Small white dots appear. Feel the ledger slip from your... No, no, hold on. Hold on. What? There's nothing. Detective, is everything alright? Whoa, what the fuck? Is this an ending? Begin.
There is nothing. Again.
Nothing?
Nothing, sad brother. No treachery, just blackout.
Just lie there, Black passed out.
Well, almost nothing. There is the ground below you, that's still there. And the small light that's on, fluttering somewhere in the basal ganglia.
Who's that?
That's me. Blue eyes, that's me.
Who was that?
Who was what?
He speaks of the sickening longing, the unwell emotion. Even in the darkness, he's grasping for it, still trying to hold on to the great sorrow slipping in the water. Slimy.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
Here in the paleomammalian cortex, we call it the shadow, because it's always there.
That was really crazy looking. Was that the X something?
Bloated corpse of the past resurfacing?
No, it was beautiful.
Beautiful. Believe me, stupid ape, its lack of beauty was not the problem.
Where is Voyager
There is
Road?
no Voyager Road. There are no roads, no houses, no lights in the windows. It's all on pause.
So my name appears to be Harry?
Your name is fuck all.
It certainly ain't Harry.
Then what is it?
Your name is passed out on the ground, dragged around by one of the other evil apes. They're taking you somewhere.
Enough, just lie there, motionless.
You think they would let you? Until you disintegrate into biomolecules? No. Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils, stupid idiot.
What is that? It's cold.
Yes, they're pouring something on you, something in you, and
It's delicious. Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of... Oh shit, a lot of time passed. Where am I? In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Itsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's back. Air is thick with leather works and heavy fuel oil. Cold water runs down your chin. Drink water. And is extending a small canister to you. Drink. The water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life itself as it pours down your parched throat. Pounding in your head, darkness parts. Drink, tilts the canister. You haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on alcohol alone? You need a second form of hydration. Drink. With greedy gulps, you down a half-liter of cold water. Some of it spills on the driver's seat. And pays no... What happened? I should ask you the same. You were reading your paperwork, then you passed out. I carried you to my Kanema. When you take you to a hospital, then you came to. How long was I out? 10 minutes, maybe. That's not true. I came in contact with the burnt out ruins of the past, Lieutenant. That does sometimes happen. Ledger of failure and hatred. He hands you the remains ledger. He replies with such understanding, it's as if the burnt out ruins of the past were an occupational hazard, athletes, cops. You drop this. Are you okay to proceed? Just nod. Good. Ledger of failure and hatred is special item. Jamais vu, the opposite of déjà vu, not already seen but never seen. Everything that should be familiar appears strange and new, like some half-forgotten day in your childhood only now. That's the feeling you've been having, and who knows for how long. You should go and ask Joyce Messier about this. What world are we in? This is a fundamental question. Oh, plus 1 XP for every orb click. All int learning caps raised by 1. Oh, I didn't pay for the room. Probably.
Can I help you?
In the mirror. Not easy, but your bones are so tired from what feels like work on the. Have to try. After what feels like hours, you.
Thoughts, baby. A million little lights in the dark. You're one fine instrument, brother. All those faces and all those names. All that laughter and screaming and scheming around. Every corner and every street.
Recorded in you forever on Faraday.
Spinning an eternity.
On and on it goes. For untold hours. At the disco where you first asked her to dance. Rising, rising. Above the dark curvature, the great wingspan of sleep. Studded with stars.
Behold, there are millions of them down there. The first time, the last time, the smoke in her mouth, the potted flowers, the faces turning, changing.
It's the world, Harry boy. And you're made of it. Every day you're out there, you make more of yourself from it. I'm afraid you can't be unmade now. You can never forget this shit.
All stuck on loop, whirling, spitting out words and images.
You're the son of the world again. Harrister, a ceaseless agent. Picking up litter and old newspapers. Collecting your little bubblegum wrappers and idiotic picture postcards. Meaningless, meaningless keepsakes.
Reading your awful letters and recalling things, aren't you? The endless names of the world. An address book you are. The map of a city.
You'll go insane if you keep going like this. One more day, and you'll be in the loony bin. I just know you will. And for what, brother man?
Solving your little crossword puzzles. Doing your tasks. Crossing names off your lists. Trying to become some sort of world detector. It won't make it okay. It won't put smoke back in her mouth. 'Cause only love can break your heart. Beep, beep, beep. The alarm is ringing, Harry. The disco circus goes on and on. You barely slept 3 hours last night.
Day 4. Morning. You got, bro.
Yes?
You got, lady.
Yes? What is it?
You got. I'm
Again.
that guy.
I can't believe this shit.
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again.
Can I help you?
It's you again. What is it?
I said something fascist? What happened? Huh. Alright, well, I'm gonna probably call it here. This has been... Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it here for tonight. It's just getting late, and I'm just clearly tired. I'm not talking as much. But yeah, we made a lot of progress today. I will probably continue this game tomorrow, and we're gonna see how much more progress we can make. The save games in this have any indication of playtime? Well, anyway, we'll try tomorrow, and we'll see how much progress we can make. I don't know how close we are to the end. We're on day 4. Don't know. There's still a good bit of the map to explore. Thankfully, we'll get into that tomorrow. We can finally start exploring new stuff. Yeah. Right. Well, thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Good night. Peace.